Hi everybody and welcome to DayZ on the PC, and in this video I really wanted to talk about why Steam style mods, server and client style mods could come to console, and also a little bit about how I'm pretty sure we're going to get access to the Init.C files pretty quick. So what you're seeing here is when I'm playing this through GeForce Now on a NVIDIA computer. This is the Winter Churnerous mod that you can download for DayZ, and as you can see, it looks really pretty. Not only does it add snow to Churnerous, but it also changes things like the temperature, so you get colder faster, so you can die faster. So it's a lot more of a survival challenge than normal Churnerous. Also, if you look at my character, you'll see this is a fresh spawn. Let's put a magazine in that gun. And I've spawned in with helmet, gas mask, a LAR, the FAL. I've got a silenced pistol, and I've got food and drink. So a really cool little mod. Now, both of these things, spawning in with different items and having something like the Winter Churnerous map, at the moment aren't available on console. We can do some amazing things on console, don't get me wrong. But everything we do is server side, so we can do things like we can change the loot table. We can make you spawn in with more gun. We can have in the map spawn more guns on the map, more cars. We can make things spawn in complete, weapons with magazines. We can spawn in cars that are ready to go, apart from having the fuel and the water inside them. We can spawn in buildings, more bears, more chickens, all that sort of stuff. But what we can't do is change what you physically spawn in with as a character, and change things like this, like assets physically in the game. We can add assets that are already in the game, because there's some hidden assets that are actually in the game files that we can pull in, but we can't add different ones that aren't already in there, such as this. And the reason for that is that we can only edit server-side stuff. So when you're playing DayZ, although it's running on your PlayStation or your Xbox or your PC, it's referring for lots of the data to a central server on the internet, a Bohemia Interactive one, or a private server, for things like where's the loot, where's the zombies, all this sort of stuff. And we can change that stuff in the cloud, in the internet, but we can't change what's on your PlayStation, because the Sony and Microsoft are very careful about what people can change on their consoles, because that could lead to things like people installing cheats and different things like that. However, in this video, I'm going to kind of say that could be possible. So what we'll do, let's just come out of this. Let's exit that, and let's go into Internet Explorer, or Chrome. So when you want to install games on a PC, the mods for DayZ, you go to something called the Steam Workshop. And the Steam Workshop is an amazing place where it has all these files that you can download. You subscribe to them, these mods, and it'll download it to your local PC to change the version of DayZ that's on your local PC, and they'll often come with instructions on how you have to change the server. And these things go together for some of these more complicated mods, like Winter Churnerous, and you can go through and you can install them. But as I say, unfortunately at the moment we can only mod our console servers. We can't mod the game itself. But there is a kind of an example of where this has been done by another publisher on console, and that is Bethesda with Skyrim and Fallout. And the change that we would have to see with Bohemia Interactive, the publisher behind DayZ, is official support for mods. Because Sony and Microsoft will have some definite rules about what they'll allow people to change on their consoles. And so that means that Bohemia Interactive would have to funnel the mods through some sort of process that gets them approved, so that then you could then install them on your console. And in fact, when you look through the Fallout mods and the Skyrim mods, what kind of becomes apparent is that actually Microsoft are a little bit more lenient with what they'll allow. With Microsoft and with the Xbox, you can install some external assets sometimes, where it appears that often Sony won't allow that. So these are all assets that you could, in fact, let's go to the PlayStation one. These are all assets that you could upload, mods you can upload, for mods for Fallout. So there's better graphics and weather. You could choose different perks. Lots of them are kind of a bit like almost like a server-side mod that we can already do in DayZ, but some of them aren't. Realistic water, more base components. Hello. Infinite ammo, cheats, stuff like that. And then if we go into Skyrim and we look at Xbox, we've got immersive citizens where they're playing around with the AI. I mean, we definitely can't do that on DayZ. But as you can see, it's all supported through Bethesda. Bethesda have got some process in place to look at these mods, which means that they can then be approved for installing onto your Xbox or PlayStation. The catch, obviously, is that doing something like this, especially for DayZ, which has hundreds and hundreds of mods that are quite large and can do some amazing things, would be quite an expensive and exhaustive process to go through. And Bohemia Interactive, although they're really good developing, they've got DayZ, they've got Armour, they've got an awful lot on their hands at the moment with developing their new engine for their games. So whether they have the resources to be able to do this thing is another matter. But I just wanted to show you, look, it could be possible if Bohemia Interactive officially supported mods and brought them into their website, and then you would link that, say for example, with your with the PlayStation Store or the Xbox Store. You could select mods, and that would then be uploaded onto your PlayStation or your Xbox, and we could get some Steam style mods. Now, the other thing is access to Init.C. So in that clip at the beginning where I was running around Chernobyl and I spawned in with a weapon and gear, that's because we've got access to Init.C. And if you look at say this is a PlayStation private server, that's basically access to the files that we have to control the game. It's these files here and the things in the DB and the ENV, which again they relate to basically stuff that spawns in on the world apart from the player, and we can play around with the loot amounts, and we can spawn some buildings in and cars and stuff like that and vehicles. But if you then look at the kind of files that are available on the PC, there's lots and lots more, and there's the Init.C file. It's not a particularly complicated file, but it's very important because it enables you to play around with things like what a player spawns in with, and if you can change what a player spawns in with, you can do all sorts of different things in terms of different game styles that you can introduce in the game. Now, I do think we're going to be getting access to this, and in fact, on console, a few of the guys did manage to get access to the Init.C file through a back door, but then that got shut down pretty quick, because I think Bohemia Interactive probably have a deal with an agreement with Nitrado and or Sony and or Microsoft that about what players can muck around with, and that was something that we weren't allowed to do at that point. They did kind of hint at the time that it's something they're looking into and something they want to do, but they want to do it in their own way, which I think will probably mean that we'll get access to the Init.C file through like a browser access. So how we used to, I don't think you can still do it actually, on PlayStation and Xbox, when you wanted to change your server messages to players, you would click into somewhere on, if we go into somewhere like this, you would click into a setting and you would get the server message file, although not directly accessible through FTP or through just uploading different files. You could look into it like this. I think maybe you could upload the file. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you couldn't upload a new file, but you could edit it within the screen. I think that's how we'll have access to Init.C. So often it was a case of copy and pasting into it, because the Init.C file actually most of the time isn't that big. and even when you add things, it doesn't get that big afterwards. But I think that's how we'll see Nitrado implementing Init.C access. It won't be through direct FTP access. It will be through like a server browser window that you can see the file, and then you can copy and text over to it, or you can edit yourself. So there we go. If we want to have Steam style mods coming to console, then Bohemia Interactive have got to create something like Bethesda have for Skyrim and Fallout. Official mods, official support for mods that link directly with the PlayStation Store, directly with the Xbox Store, so we can upload these mods to our consoles, and then we can have things like, the Winter Churnerous map, trader mods, and all that wonderful stuff. Anyway, that's enough from me. Hopefully that video is useful. Put your questions and comments down below, and I'll see you again soon.